Get educated, get tested, and get involved. That's the message behind World AIDS Day in the global fight to stop the spread of HIV. World AIDS Day is this Thursday, December 1st, and today members of the nonprofit group Bakersfield AIDS Project announced its plans to gather in front of the Liberty Bell on Truxtun at 7 o'clock that evening to honor loved ones who have died, as well as those who have survived the fight against AIDS. The group was also presented a city proclamation. More than 3,500 people in Kern County are living with AIDS, and organizers talked about whether we as a community are making strides when it comes to AIDS, HIV awareness, and treatment.
I believe we are making inroads. It's going to be a lot more harder because education and prevention monies, of course, have been cut, and we need to talk about it. We just, community isn't comfortable in talking about sex as a whole, and or issues relating to perhaps maybe drug use or blood-to-blood risks.
For more information about World AIDS Day events, just see the organization's website at www.bakersfieldaidsproject.org.
People all over the world are observing World AIDS Day today. A new United Nations report says the number of people being infected with HIV is at its lowest point in more than a decade. Still, it's estimated 34 million people in the world are HIV positive. That's about 2% of the world's population. 17's Victoria Spilabati is live at the Liberty Bell downtown with more on how the disease affects people here locally. Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning, Maddie. Well, the Bakersfield AIDS Project says more than 600 people have died in Kern County of AIDS in the last 30 years, and those who have lost loved ones will meet tonight here at the Liberty Bell for a candlelight vigil to remember them. A round of applause from Ridgeview High students for Ben Sanchez, a father living with HIV for 18 years.
It's like I couldn't believe it. I said, wow, man, all these years I thought I'd be young, healthy, and prosperous. And what's my future going to be like now? I was kind of questioning my future.
Sanchez is one of more than 600 people in Kern County with HIV or AIDS. His message to the students on World AIDS Day: make the right choices.
Stay away from things that can so easily beset them, like drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and lead you down the wrong path and making bad choices with your body.
Sanchez's message is heard round the globe on World AIDS Day as countries raise awareness about the disease. Like former Lakers great Magic Johnson, HIV is now undetectable in Sanchez's body, but many others aren't so lucky. AIDS quilts line the Ridgeview gym floor, a grim reminder of those who died.
I just feel bad, you know, that maybe that could be us in the future, but who knows.
I think it's amazing how they make the quilt in remembrance of them.
Jaquie Sullivan made this quilt for her daughter Joyce, who suffered for 8 years before she died at 29 years old.
I mean, to even imagine that one of my children would perhaps die before I would die was just really more than I could bear.
The Bakersfield AIDS Project says the number of HIV cases are on the rise in Kern County, but the number of deaths are down due to effective medication. The theme of World AIDS Day this year is zero new infections and zero discrimination. The vigil starts tonight here at the Liberty Bell at 7 p.m. Reporting live from downtown Bakersfield, Victoria Spilabati, 17 News.
All right, thank you very much, Victoria.
The medications have changed things. I mean, we've seen Magic Johnson back, in the 1990s and of course in the 80s, it was a death sentence. We saw people dying of not necessarily this disease, but of complications related to it. Now people are living well beyond that. I think one of the issues that has kind of emerged with this is complacency. People saying, oh, AIDS isn't that bad, it looks like.
And that's what really happens with, a lot of diseases when people start to see them get better or, the infection rates go down, they start to, not worry about it as much. But it is still out there. It is still prevalent. They said here in Kern County, cases are on the rise, which is really scary.
Yeah, that's why we're having those events today.
Countries around the world today are observing World AIDS Day. An estimated 34 million people around the world have HIV. That's according to the United Nations data taken in 2010. 17's Victoria Spilabati live at the Liberty Bell in downtown Bakersfield with more on how many people here in Kern County are living with the disease.
Well, Maddie, the Bakersfield AIDS Advisory Board says that more than 600 people in Kern County are living with HIV or AIDS. And tonight, those who have lost loved ones to
to the disease will remember them here at a candlelight vigil at the Liberty Bell. The Bakersfield AIDS Advisory Board says the number of HIV cases are on the rise in Kern County, but the number of deaths are down due to effective medication. In the last 30 years, more than 600 people in Kern County have died of AIDS. At Ridgeview High School, the AIDS quilts were on display to teach students about the importance of protecting their bodies. The quilts are made by families who lost loved ones to the disease. Each measures 12 feet by 12 feet. Organizers say that's the measurement of a grave site. City Councilwoman Jaquie Sullivan made a quilt to remember her daughter, who died of AIDS at 29 years old.
I just want her life to stand for something good, and that is education and awareness to others.
The theme of World AIDS Day this year is zero new infections and zero discrimination. The candlelight vigil starts tonight here at the Liberty Bell at 7 p.m. Reporting live in downtown Bakersfield, Victoria Spilabati, 17 News.
More than 1 million people are living with HIV in the United States. That's according to the CDC. It's a startling statistic, but perhaps even scarier. 1 in 5 of those people living with HIV is unaware of their infection. Just one reason many will unite today for World AIDS Day, to build that awareness. Audrey Chavez is joining us this morning to talk about it. And for Audrey, this hits pretty close to home.
Absolutely. World AIDS Day for families like mine is just about every day. I mean, basically, when you have a loved one who's diagnosed with HIV, it's something that helps you to remember what life is about, and also the gift of being healthy, being HIV negative. But you see your loved one go through many different changes, and sometimes, like ours, the loss of life. And so AIDS is something that affects many different people.
Because for you, it's your brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And even today, I mean, you have a binder with his picture on it. You brought me the ribbon that I'm wearing today, and this is what is on your mind all day today.
Right. This is a picture of my brother Ricky, and it just really, the humanity behind the statistics is so important that we not forget it. It's about life, it's about health, and it's about family.
So tonight you'll have a candlelight vigil to honor Ricky, as well as those who are fighting that battle today. Tell me what will be new this year.
New this year, we'll have beautiful luminaries out at the event, and we will also have a couple of different entertainers there, music, some of the different choirs, and then of course different people. I mean, basically every year this grows, and we've gone from being our family to being the Bowden family, the Mayestas family, the Hernandez family, you know, and then also people in the community who maybe don't have a loved one who's living with the disease, but who are caring, who are seeing that this is something that affects, you know, our faith communities, our cities, and our counties, and that we should be caring about one another and how can we support one another without actually having to be living with this disease.
So this is going to happen at the Liberty Bell, which is over there off Truxton, near Chester right there. But this is just one event of a bunch of events that are happening, because it's not just World AIDS Day, it's also AIDS Awareness Month. So for the entire list of events happening in December, you can find that on our website. Just go to bakersfieldnow.com. Audrey, thanks so much for being with us and for sharing that story, because it really helps put a face to that. Audrey, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Today is World AIDS Day. It marks 30 years since the first cases were reported. Kern County health officials say that we're finally in a position to end the epidemic. In commemoration of World AIDS Day, the community will gather in front of the Liberty Bell on Truxton Avenue at 7 o'clock tonight to honor loved ones who have died, as well as those who have survived the fight against AIDS.
Here in Kern County, local health officials have launched their own campaign against AIDS. Their campaign, called Getting to Zero, is promoting a year without any new infections, deaths, or stigma. The way to get there is to make sure you get tested.
When people go in for their regular physicals and checkups with their regular doctors, anyone between the ages of 13 and 64 should get tested for HIV at least once, so that we can make sure we know their status and be able to get them on medication if they are positive.
And a candlelight vigil will be held in downtown Bakersfield for family and friends who have lost a loved one to AIDS to honor their memory. That event starts at 7 at the Liberty Bell.
Two of the major barriers to accessing medical care for someone who's newly diagnosed.
In communities large and small today all over the world, loved ones remembered those who have died of AIDS and those who are living with the human immunodeficiency virus. A new United Nations report says the number of people infected with HIV is at its lowest point in more than a decade. Still, it's estimated 34 million people around the world are HIV positive. That's about 2% of the world's population. Here in Kern County, more than 600 people suffer from HIV or AIDS.
Yesterday, people from around the globe observed World AIDS Day, and last night here locally, people came together at the Liberty Bell to remember the loved ones who have died of AIDS and those who are now living with HIV.
Antonio Fontanes, Arthur Arambula.
A new United Nations report indicates the number of people infected with HIV is at its lowest point in more than a decade. Still, it's estimated 34 million people in the world are HIV positive. That's about 2% of the world's population. Here in Kern County, more than 600 people suffer from HIV or AIDS.
Hoy es el Día Mundial del SIDA y al sur del Valle varias organizaciones realizan eventos para informar y dar conocimiento sobre la enfermedad.
Así es, Irma Cervantes nos acompaña con más detalles. Irma.
Hola, gracias. El tema este año es cero. Cero muertes del SIDA, cero nuevas infecciones y cero discriminación de personas infectadas.
Nosotros no extrañamos mucho a mi hermano Ricky.
Audrey Chavez aún no puede contener sus lágrimas cuando recuerda a su hermano Ricky Montoya, quien falleció del SIDA hace más de 15 años, por lo cual ella ahora se dedica a ayudar a personas con la enfermedad en su honor a través de la casa Ricky's Retreat.
Ahora tenemos 4 personas que viven aquí, que no tienen apoyo de la familia de ellos. Nosotros son familias para ellos. Pueden dar comer y también inspiración para vivir. Ayudan a ir al doctores.
Y esta noche a las 7 frente a la Corte Superior de Kern, ella participará en la caminata y vigilia anual con organizaciones de salud en honor al Día Mundial del SIDA.
Y queremos invitar a la comunidad a que nos acompañen hoy en la noche, a las 7 de la noche, en una velada en la calle Truxton, para celebrar a todas esas personas que perdieron la batalla, o recordar a todas esas personas que perdieron la batalla con la enfermedad en sí.
Desde que se descubrió la enfermedad se han creado más tratamientos, más medicamentos y como resultado han habido menos muertes, pero las infecciones continúan, por lo cual se le urge a personas que se hagan la prueba.
Es importante que se hagan la prueba para ver si han estado a riesgo. Y pueden venir aquí con nosotros. Las pruebas son gratis y es totalmente confidencial.
Mientras tanto, Chávez continúa ayudando a personas con el VIH y el SIDA en la comunidad. 69 han vivido en Ricky's Retreat, 16 han muerto, pero el resto ha sobrevivido.
Este lugar es un honor de mi hermano, pero es también para honrar los hermanos y hermanas de ustedes, porque es una casa de comunidad, compasión y para ayudar a los que tienen VIH.
Para más información sobre el VIH y el SIDA puede llamar al Departamento de Salud en su área. Aquí en Kern el número es 661-321-3000. En Bakersfield yo soy Irma Cervantes, Noticias Univisión 21.